We have some breaking news on this Thursday night, and it is the breaking news that we have been waiting days, weeks, months for. It has aged us. There has been a lot of drama. There have been many frustrations, but ladies and gentlemen, it's all over. The San Francisco 49ers have officially signed wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk to a massive contract extension. You're watching the San Francisco 49ers Report. I'm Chase Sr., and no matter where you are, how you're tuned in, I certainly appreciate you for making our coverage a part of your night. There are so many channels that are live right now. I already pushed out an instant reaction video that's available on the channel, and now it's time for us to talk about this as the faithful, as the Niner Empire, as the Niner Gang. It's going down as a 4-year, $120 million deal for the Niners' number one wide receiver, and that includes $76 million in guaranteed money. It comes out to an average annual value of $30 million per year for the 2023 second-team All-Pro. Ian Rappaport with this post not long ago, finally, right? And that was how all of us reacted. A big exhale. All of us saying, it's over. We finally don't have to talk about this any longer. They got the deal done. And now San Francisco, a team with Super Bowl aspirations, can finally get their offense together, hopefully now sign Trent Williams, and start looking ahead to week 1 to take on the New York Jets. It is now August 29th. The Niners season opener, fittingly, 11 days away. The same number that Brandon Aiyuk wears. So going back to this tweet from Ian Rappaport, the 49ers not trading star wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk. He's staying with the Niners on a massive deal per him and Mike Garafolo. He's getting a front-loaded 4-year deal worth $120 million done by friend of the show, Ryan Williams. And yes, Aiyuk will now practice. The last 2 days, he did not practice with San Francisco. And at that point, we were wondering, he had been a hold-in throughout all of training camp, July, deep into August. But he got medically cleared from the phantom neck and back injuries that he was dealing with. And now that he wasn't practicing, the Niners had the right to fine Aiyuk if they wanted. Now, we don't have to worry about that any longer. Aiyuk is a Niner for the long term. What does this mean, big picture? Of course, we're going to talk about that here on the show. DV Freckled with the $2 super chat. Thank you for keeping us updated. Well, thank you for watching the show, and thanks to everybody for being here. I know that you got frustrated with all of the new Aiyuk updates. Seemingly, there were changes being made every single day. And it was a monster storyline across the entire National Football League. My job as the host of the 49ers Report is to inform, is to provide insightful content, is to entertain. It's to keep you in the know. And when there was a big news item that was mentioned or reported or was developing on the Brandon Aiyuk front, I had to talk about it here on this show. And after countless videos, a plethora of them over the last several months, and all the twists and turns that we saw, Aiyuk's going to come back, Aiyuk's going to get traded, Aiyuk's going to play on the 5th year, the Niners don't want him back, he doesn't want to come back, he requests a trade. It's all for naught. It was all about leverage. It was all about trying to get that price tag up, get the contract that he wanted, and Brandon Aiyuk gets that deal. Adam Schefter also with this tweet, which provides some good insight for everybody out there. Highest paid wide receivers in the NFL on a per-year basis. You have Justin Jefferson, who really set the market at $35 million per year. CeeDee Lamb at $34 million. A.J. Brown at 32, Amon-Ra St. Brown at 30 and change, Tyreek Hill at $30 million, and then Aiyuk at $30 million as well. So he gets more money than Jalen Waddle at 28 and a quarter and Davante Adams at 28. Of course, Davante Adams signing that deal a couple of years ago. Grade the extension for Brandon Aiyuk. You can go to that there, Chip. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the chat what you're thinking here. We also have a live poll question. Do you like the Aiyuk deal? 81% yes, 19% no. It's kind of flipping back and forth between 81-19 and 80-20. Look, it was important for the Niners to get this deal done. Brandon Aiyuk is a very special player in this league. He's developed into an all-pro player, and it's important to keep a marquee weapon like that for your franchise quarterback on this offense alongside Brock Purdy. And both sides are able to come to an agreement to get this deal done. So I'm seeing a lot of A's down in the comment section. I do see a B from Christopher Anson. Moez going A. Ontario Jackson A+. Mike Concho does not like it. He is giving this a D. We did have a $5 super chat which came in from Monkey Business. He said, now we need to secure Trent Williams. Fix it. And that is the next line of business that San Francisco needs to take care of. You have your all-pro wide receiver, and now it's time to lock in and lock down the best left tackle in the National Football League who makes your offense better. You are not a Super Bowl contending team without Aiyuk, without Trent Williams, and now the Niners get one of those two done in Aiyuk. Hopefully next up, it's Trent Williams. Cerebral Assassin, a $2 super chat saying, thanks, Chase. Again, you can thank me all you want, and I certainly appreciate that, but thank you for supporting the show. I do have a drink here that I am totally down to shotgun in celebration of Brandon Aiyuk signing this deal. $50 super chat, we called it that, and we're shotgunning to celebrate this great news live on the San Francisco 49ers Report. I'm totally down with that. Before we do that, I do want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. We have nearly 600 people watching live. If we get some more likes, more people will come in here, and we'll have a great night here on the San Francisco 49ers Report. Shout out to producer Chip for getting the live show ready while I went in the back and I filmed in a separate studio to get a video up on the channel. Part of the reason why I was a big advocate for the Niners signing Aiyuk to this deal is the player that he has become. And he is a great story of the Niners player development program. They take him 25th overall in the 2020 draft out of Arizona State. And for Aiyuk himself, pretty fascinating story. He started his collegiate career as a JUCO product. He goes to Arizona State. He plays under Herm Edwards. He had some huge production with Jane Daniels throwing him the rock. And the Niners, in the eyes of a lot of people, reached for Aiyuk in the draft back in 2020. But at that time, I really liked the selection, and I thought it was pretty telling how Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch reacted to it. When they got their guy with the 25th overall pick, when they were conducting the draft from their own home offices during the weird time of COVID, they celebrated that pick. And Aiyuk in year one led the Niners in receiving yards during that injury-plagued 2020 season after the San Francisco 49ers lost the Super Bowl to the Kansas City Chiefs. There were some bumps in the road during that rookie campaign. He played 12 games, but still led the team in receiving yards. Year two, he started off in the doghouse, but then really started to turn the corner as he embraced and fully tapped into what Kyle Shanahan was asking of him. Then in 2022, he has a career year. He surpasses 1,000 receiving yards for the first time. And then no year was better than what Aiyuk did last year when he was a second-team All-Pro. So Aiyuk is a player who the Niners drafted 25th overall. He goes from the JUCO level to Arizona State, led the team in receiving as a rookie, doghouse in year two, has developed into an All-Pro. And now this is 5 consecutive years, ladies and gentlemen, in which the 49ers have taken care of and paid their homegrown players. It started off in 2020 with George Kittle, 2021 Fred Warner, 2022 Deebo Samuel, last year Nick Bosa on September 6th, and here on August 29th, it's Brandon Aiyuk. And next offseason, Brock Purdy's going to be due for a contract extension. Diamador Lenore is going to be due for a new deal. Talanoa Hufanga, Aaron Banks, some of the homegrown players for the Niners are going to be looking for paydays. That's in the future. This is the now. Let's get to some of your super chats here. Murder BX with the $10 super. LFG, been waiting for this. Aiyuk not going anywhere. Much love to the Niner gang from a Giants fan. Shout out to the wife, Monkey Business, bang, bang. Anytime you can give a shout out to the wife, you got to do it. Happy wife, happy life. You know the deal. DJ Dream, a $5 super chat. We are going up against, he meant to say. Some pretty good defensive backs with the Jets. Do you think Aiyuk will be ready to ball out week 1? Can I get a San Francisco? So you think about the timeline here, and this is why on the show, on my social media pages, I've been pressuring the Niners to get this deal done and letting my feelings be known. You're 11 days away from the season opener. I imagine that Aiyuk is in pretty good shape. I imagine that he's been working out. The Niners now have some wiggle room to ramp him up to get him ready for game action. Now, I don't think that he's going to play a full snap load, but that's okay because you're pretty deep at the wide receiver spot. And now that you have him under wraps, signed to a contract extension, you have to think about this with a long-term point of view. And it's a long game, right? You're not playing week 1 as if it's the Super Bowl. You were hoping that in February, you were in New Orleans, Super Bowl 59, you're back there, and you have everybody healthy at full strength. Week 1, of course, is very important against the New York Jets. And you're right, DJ Dream. That's a legitimate team. They have one of the best defenses in the National Football League. Sauce Gardner is an excellent corner. I think Aiyuk will play, but I don't think he should or will play a full snap load unless in these 11 days leading up to Monday Night Football. And it's also of note that the Niners have some extra time on Monday Night Football. He's going to start off with individual drills, running some routes, catching some passes from Brock Purdy, and then you ease him in to some one-on-ones, team drills after that, and then you really start to get his feet wet. But getting this deal done allows him to kind of knock off some of that rust because he hasn't been involved in training camp practices, drills, preseason games. Now, of course, you can think about the Dallas Cowboys and CD Lamb. They got that deal done earlier this week. Is he going to play week 1? Dallas Cowboys need CD Lamb more than the Niners need Brandon Aiyuk because San Francisco is a much more well-rounded offensive unit. Words of wisdom, $2 super chat. Hope that knee is healing up, my guy. Glad that he signed. Now we don't have to sell a BA thong. Yeah, if you turn your jersey into a BA thong, that could go for some chatter on the internet because weird things go for high prices on the internet. It's a crazy world that we're living in here in 2024. If you want to get on the show, by the way, use the hashtag 49ers or send in a super chat. Should I just shotgun this now to celebrate Aiyuk signing this deal, or should we wait for a $50 super chat? Because if we get a $50 super chat, we'll go all in, we'll shotgun, we'll party. We're up to $25 in super chats. Get those super chats in if you want to support the show.
Hey, we get to $100 in total. 75 away. I'm doing a beer bong. We got to get it going. It finally happened, baby. We've been waiting so long, man.
Yeah, Chip, so, you know, you're alongside me for all of these conversations about Aiyuk. Your thoughts on this deal getting done? Do you like the value of it? Your thoughts on everything that's transpired? And you can pop yourself up double box if you want so that the people can see you a little bit better.
See this beautiful face.
But it finally comes to fruition, and your thoughts on this deal getting done.
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to say I'm just glad it's happened now.
Yeah.
We can move forward now. Obviously the Trent Williams thing, but now we're starting to get this team together a week before the season starts. And Aiyuk is such an integral part of this offense. The team's #1 wide receiver, in my opinion. And the price point they got him at, let's talk about that, because $30 million, like, if I'm Aiyuk, you know, and I'm sure this whole process he was asking for 31, 32, upwards of that amount. And ultimately, you get him at a price at $30 million where among all these wide receiver contracts, some people might think it's a lot. I think it's right in line with what he deserves and what he's earned. I think, honestly, some of his best play is yet to come. He's still a young player. He's still developing in a system that, Chase, you've talked about this a lot. They love to run the ball. He doesn't get the same statistics and production that your typical top wide receivers would get because he doesn't get the same targets. He's not getting, you know, all these targets, 150 targets every single season like some of these other top receivers. But when you just turn on the tape and watch him play, he's getting open. He's always there. He's reliable. He's one of the best receivers in the game. So I think the price point they got him at, the fact that they didn't have to ship him off for less than what he was worth, because you were going to get a first-round pick for Aiyuk, which I think he was probably worth. So the deal's done. I like the price it's at. My one-word reaction, I'm relieved, baby.
Relieved.
I'm relieved.
I think that is a justified word for everybody who's been following the storyline over the last several months. It's relieved, and there is relief. And for me, like, think about it from my standpoint, right? The 49ers report, Chat Sports, it's a business. The more views that we get, it's better for the company. And when we're doing these Aiyuk updates, the videos are doing 20, 30, 40, 50,000 views. That's great, right? But at some point, you need to start to have your semblance of offensive weaponry on the field at the same time, getting ready for week one, ramping up for the season. And I just got past the point of talking about all these new updates. I want to talk about actual football here because the San Francisco 49ers have a golden opportunity, no pun intended, to compete and win a Super Bowl in New Orleans in February. And getting the Aiyuk deal done is certainly a part of that, and it's a big step forward in that process. Nearly 700 people watching live. Be sure to hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. The more likes that we get, the more people who discover the stream and the more booming that this live show can get. So help us out. We really appreciate that. And Chip, you can go full screen here with the breaking news L3 because I think it's time for a celebratory shotgun now that Brandon Aiyuk has signed this deal. Shotgun coming up right here on the San Francisco 49ers report. You think about everything that's transpired this offseason. It's been crazy. What a wild last few months that it's been. You had Brandon Aiyuk's girlfriend and his best friend hinting that maybe Aiyuk was going to play elsewhere in 2024. He directly tweeted Mike Tomlin. He went on TikTok with Jaden Daniels saying the Niners don't want him any longer. He requested the trade. He's on the Pivot podcast. And he's saying, I'd like to play for the Commanders or the Steelers, or if it's not the Niners. Look, all along, you had a feeling that Aiyuk wanted the Niners and the Niners wanted Aiyuk. They just had to come to an agreement on a deal. And they finally get that deal done here on this August 29th, 11 days fittingly before the regular season gets underway as Aiyuk rocks the number 11. Ladies and gentlemen, the drama is over. The deal is done. Brandon Aiyuk and the Niners have agreed to terms on a 4-year, $120 million contract worth $76 million in guaranteed money. Now we don't have to worry any longer about updates, if he's going to get traded. Now the sole focus is looking ahead to the 2024 season. And for San Francisco, they're on that quest for 6. Now it's time to focus on winning the Super Bowl. Cheers to the faithful. Thanks for tuning in to all of my updates on the 49ers report on X and Instagram. I know it got tiresome. I knew that people were going to be celebrating this once it finally happened, and that's what we're doing right now. It's all in the rear view. The contract drama is over. Brandon Aiyuk is a San Francisco 49er. Let's celebrate.
Let's go, baby! Aiyuk, 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 Aiyuk. Woo!
Let's go. All right, let's go further in detail on what happened, what this means, the breaking news. Let's do it all here on the show. If you want to be a part of the show, use the hashtag 49ers. Send in a super chat. Let's get it popping. All right. We just going with these graphs? Or just chopping it up? Yeah, that's fine. All right, let's go in further detail on the Niners signing Brandon Aiyuk to this contract extension. We've kind of discussed everything, but let's go a little bit further in depth. So breaking news here on the San Francisco 49ers report by Chat Sports, and by now, you all know the news. Brandon Aiyuk and the Niners have agreed to a 4-year, $120 million contract extension. $76 million in guaranteed money, and it comes out to an average annual value of $30 million per year for the 2023 All-Pro, and a player who the Niners have developed and invested in since taking him in the first round back in the 2020 NFL Draft. Ian Rappaport breaking the news this afternoon on this Thursday, August 29th. Finally. And I think that's a reaction that all of us have. Finally, it's over. We don't have to worry about the daily updates. We don't have to worry about whether or not Aiyuk is going to get dealt. He doesn't have to worry about playing on that fifth-year option. Aiyuk all along has wanted to get compensated. Aiyuk all along has wanted to get rewarded for becoming an all-pro player. Brandon Aiyuk has seen this wide receiver market explode, and in turn, his asking price and his demands have been on the uptick. He's also seen his other teammates get new contracts and guaranteed money and contract extensions. And Aiyuk's been looking around over the last several weeks, last few months, saying, well, hold on. I've been pivotal to the Niners' offensive success. My production has gotten better and better and better every single year that I've been in the National Football League. I am crucial to this team reaching their expectations and their potential of being a Super Bowl contender. With my deep threat ability, we finally saw what Kyle Shanahan's offense can become with very good quarterback play and me on the outside. He has been this team's number one wide receiver the last 2 years. So he's wanted to get compensated. He gets compensated, and he gets paid handsomely on this 4-year, $120 million contract. And now our focus shifts to week 1 against the New York Jets and San Francisco, trying to chase that Super Bowl. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, because when breaking news happens, we bring it to you right here on this show. As you can see, we are approaching 138,000 subscribers. If you want entertaining, insightful, innovative, thought-provoking Niners coverage every single day, I have you covered right here on the show. Now, a lot of people have a question. Where does Aiyuk rank among the highest paid wide receivers in the National Football League? He's up there, and he becomes one of the highest compensated wideouts in a very competitive market at a very competitive position. Justin Jefferson, average annual value, is making $35 million per year. CeeDee Lamb, right behind him at $34 million per year. He signed that extension with the Dallas Cowboys earlier this week. A.J. Brown, earlier this offseason, signed an extension with Philadelphia. He's making $32 million average annual value. Amon-Ra St. Brown, just over 30. Tyreek Hill at 30. Brandon Aiyuk at 30. Jalen Waddle at 28 and a quarter. And Devontae Adams at $28 million even. And a big reason why Aiyuk is getting paid and compensated this highly is because of the player that he's become. And his career trajectory has been very fascinating and very interesting to watch. And I've pretty much watched every single snap that he's played for the San Francisco 49ers. He gets taken 25th overall out of Arizona State in the 2020 draft, and immediately, as the Niners suffer from a bevy of injuries coming off that Super Bowl loss against Kansas City, he gets thrust into action. And he leads the team in receiving yards as a rookie in only 12 games played. 60 catches, 748 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Average yards per catch at 12.5. And I think that's so impressive because as a rookie, there is such a steep learning curve, especially when you're trying to learn Kyle Shanahan's offensive system. But you also have to get acclimated with the NFL life. And then the game speed and the physicality of the NFL game is dramatically different than college. There's just so much more talent. And Aiyuk, year 1, because of COVID, did not have any preseason games. There were limited training camp practices, and the training camp practices that the Niners had limitations because of COVID. Yet he still has a really good year, and you start to see the promise. Things started to get a little bit dicey during his sophomore campaign when he started the year in the doghouse. But then he comes out of the doghouse, and after the Niners started 3-5, he really turned on the Jets, and the Niners' turnaround coincided with Aiyuk's rise as a player. Now, his catches went down by 4, but his yards went up, and you really saw that he could become a special player in this league and really people started to talk about Aiyuk when he had that game-winning touchdown against the Cincinnati Bengals on the road in overtime. Remember that? And then in year 3, he sets records all across the board for production. And then last year, his best season up to date. He finally gets the respect nationally that he deserved. People start to recognize him as a clean route runner with some excellent footwork. But Brock Purdy and his elite deep ball led to Brandon Aiyuk having a career year. And Brandon Aiyuk found success running every single route on the route tree, beating zone coverage, man coverage, and became just an all-around dynamic weapon for Kyle Shanahan. And he turned in a marvelous campaign. He was number 2 in yards per catch in the NFL at 17.9, behind Tyreek Hill. He was number 2 in yards per target at 12.8. He was the second highest graded wide receiver according to Pro Football Focus at 91.5. So he checks out statistically and analytically. Speaking of analytics, number 2 in expected points added at 107.3. And despite the Niners throwing the football at the 32nd rate in the NFL, dead last since the Christian McCaffrey trade, Aiyuk goes number 2 in all of these categories, still number 7 in receiving yards. And I think that's what's so impressive. He made more of fewer opportunities. And his argument at the negotiating table, I imagine, was, if I got Justin Jefferson targets, CD Lamb targets, Amon-Ra St. Brown targets, my price tag would be higher because my production would be higher. And that's why I think that he demanded $30 million per year, combined with the wide receiver market being what it is and what it has been, and it resetting on multiple occasions. Fascinated to hear from you. What is your one-word reaction to Aiyuk returning to the Niners? Our one word, producer Chip and I, relieved. You go back to Aiyuk's path. He is a player who San Francisco drafted 25th overall. He goes from JUCO to Arizona State. He becomes the leading receiver as a rookie, doghouse year 2, and now has developed into an all-pro. And now this is 5 consecutive off seasons in which the Niners have taken care of their homegrown players. You don't invest all of your time and efforts in developing players into all pros and then let them walk. There has been a saying that I've uttered on this show many times. Do not let special walk out the door. And that's why I never thought that it made sense to let Aiyuk go, especially when if you traded him, you were going to get 75 cents back on the dollar. You weren't getting a first-round pick. Pittsburgh wouldn't give you George Pickens, who I don't even know if you want because of the character issues. You're not getting players or draft picks back that are going to help you dramatically in this Super Bowl window. So get the deal done and keep in mind that the NFL salary cap is going to continue to go up. The wide receiver market will continue to explode. Now, this might lead to difficult decisions where you have to let go of Deebo Samuel after this year because the team is going to become more expensive when you have to pay Brock Purdy and there's no more guaranteed money left on Deebo's deal. But Aiyuk the last 2 years has been the more productive player, the better player, and the more available player as compared to Deebo. More on that in a second. Why I wanted Aiyuk to return to the Niners, too. He's a great pairing alongside your quarterback in Brock Purdy. You have an opportunity to support your young franchise quarterback who they have a great kinship and camaraderie working right now over the last year and a half. The last now 5 off seasons, you have invested in your homegrown studs. Nick Bosa in 2020, Fred Warner 2021, Deebo Samuel 2022, Nick Bosa in 2023, and now Brandon Aiyuk in 2024. And for as much frustration as you might have with this Niners organization, you do have to give them credit because they have found ways to get deals done to keep their special players in-house. George Kittle at the time was the highest paid tight end in the history of the NFL. Fred Warner was the highest paid off-ball linebacker in the NFL. Deebo Samuel got top 10 wide receiver money. They made Nick Bosa the highest paid non-quarterback in the history of the NFL. And now Brandon Aiyuk is getting $30 million per year for a team that runs the football a lot. 2 more points here. Aiyuk hasn't hit his ceiling yet. He's 26 years old. It's not like he's 30, and it's not like he's had injury-plagued seasons. He has been a very durable, tough, and rugged player, and I think he's only going to continue to get better. And maybe now that the Niners are investing in him, they start to throw the ball a little bit more, and they make good on that investment. I also love what Aiyuk is about. I know that some people have soured on him this offseason because he tweeted directly at Mike Tomlin, and he took the TikTok with Jane Daniels and said the Niners don't want him any longer. He demanded a trade. He went on the Pivot podcast and said, if I don't come back to the Niners, I'd like to play with Jane Daniels, with the Commanders, maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's been active on social media, but he's been active to try to get the money that he feels as though he deserves. But outside of that, he's gone about his business in the right way prior to this offseason. He's been available for this team. He's been highly productive. He's a willing blocker. He takes hits. He's tough. His teammates love him. And Kyle Shanahan absolutely loves him. So you want people as part of your organization in sports or as part of your business who you like to be around, who do a good job at driving that bottom line, who produce, who are great for the workplace culture. And Brandon Aiyuk is all of those things. And when you compare Aiyuk to Deebo, yes, right now you have a very expensive wide receiver room. And we'll see if this wide receiver room continues their partnership. And we'll see what happens with Deebo Samuel after this year because he has no guaranteed money left. But it was a no-brainer for me that if you're to plan for the future, and that's what good businesses do, they always have foresight, the wide receiver to keep is Aiyuk over Deebo. When you compare the last 2 years, Aiyuk, younger player, more durable player, more available player, and more productive player. 33 games played for him as compared to Deebo's 28. 219 targets to Deebo's 183. 153 catches to Deebo's 116. 2,300 plus yards to 1,500 plus yards. That's an 800-yard difference. Yards per catch, 15 to 13.1. And this is total touchdowns here. Don't hit me with Chase. Deebo, he's also a running threat. Yes, he is. And he's one of the more special playmakers that we've seen in this generation of football. Total touchdowns, Deebo has the edge there. You're right, 17 to 15. But in that Super Bowl against Kansas City, the Chiefs were able to thwart this Niners offense in part because they jammed Deebo a lot at the line of scrimmage. And he struggled to beat some of that press man coverage. Brandon Aiyuk is a man press beater, a zone beater, and more of a traditional outside wide receiver. So grade the Brandon Aiyuk extension, A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know down in the comment section right now what you think of this new deal for the Niners and Aiyuk. John Yam, $10 super chat. And is John a first-timer? John Yam is a first-time super chatter. Thank you so much, John, for supporting the show. We're up to $35 in super chats. Almost 600 people watching live. Continue to hit that thumbs up icon. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Video is already out with my instant reaction to Aiyuk signing this deal. And now we're giving you even more coverage right here on the San Francisco 49ers Report. Time in the Buckeye, A++ time. And I'm not sure what happened on the other channel, but I'm glad that you're here. You're a real one. We love you here at Chat Sports, and you're an OG. All right. Another $50 super chat, another shotgun for Brandon Aiyuk. And also, use the hashtag 49ers or send in a super chat so that you can be a part of the show. If we get some questions in, we'll continue to stay live and we'll react with all of you. Dennis Youngblood said everybody hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. How are they going to go about Trent now? From Endu Freeze, I think they get a deal done. Look, I mean, you just can't move forward this year without Trent Williams. Simple as that. That's just the fact.
Yeah, that's where the attention's going to turn now. Get Trent Williams in the building. Get your whole team together. Go make a run. Go make a run. Words of wisdom says, make it rain, baby. Aiyuk making it rain with this bag. Dennis, everyone hit that thumbs up. He says it, baby. Hit that thumbs up. We're close to 300 likes. Also, when we get to $100 total in Super Chats, I'm doing a beer bong. But we got to get to 100. John Wallace, what up?
Johnny Dubs, what it do? 5 likes away from 300. Chipper, I put the thumbs up. Gamer Dude, what up, Gamer Dude? It's been a while. Muhammad, Chipper, we need Trent. Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
Yes, we do. You know what I need? Watch parties back in my life. We did some preseason watch parties, but we'll be back. Week 1. Jets-Niners. And now that you have Aiyuk and the deal done, I think San Francisco can win this game. I was getting a little bit skeptical. Lord Buddy Bear, glad I don't got to hear about this every day anymore. You're telling me, brother. You're telling me. I certainly feel you on that. $50 super chat. We're taking down another shotgun. And we can start running through some of the hashtag 49ers there, Chip. We can start answering some questions here. What is that noise? What is that noise? You hear that like pounding? It sounds like somebody's above us like hitting the floor. It just stopped. Watch, it'll come back right when you leave. What's team 3? Oh, nice. Good stuff. Yeah, I saw 30 messages on a text, and I was like, I can't look at that right now. No, we're good. There it is. Wait, you know what it is? It's the fan in your microphone. It sounds like somebody's like hitting on the wall. That's hilarious. No, you're good, man. Now that I know what it is, I'm less distracted by it. All right, let's run through your questions. Hashtag 49ers, send in a super chat. Yeah. Fuck yourself, Sperry. Words of wisdom, we don't have to make this a cut, I don't think. How does this affect Ricky Pearsall? Fair question. Look, San Francisco has one of the deepest wide receiver rooms in the NFL. You bring Aiyuk back, you have Deebo, you have Juwan Jennings, you have Jacob Cowing, who really flashed. You have Ricky Pearsall. Ronnie Bell made the initial 53. So San Francisco is loaded at the wide receiver position. Ricky Pearsall has to get healthy. One more shoulder injury, I'm concerned about him. He might have to undergo surgery and be out for the year. Knife nut. Where do I rate our wide receiver room compared to the other Super Bowl contenders? I think it's number 1. Now, I think the Eagles might have the better wide receiver duo, but I think the Niners have the better wide receiver room. Does that make sense? Because I think Deebo's more of a weapon as compared to a true wideout. But you compare the Niners with other Super Bowl contenders, Baltimore Ravens, it's San Francisco all day. Detroit Lions, it's the Niners. Kansas City, it's still San Francisco, although Patrick Mahomes with a couple of guys who run 4-2, 4-3, that's very scary. Houston Texans do have a very good receiver room for C.J. Stroud. Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell. I'd still take the Niners. Even though they lost Noah Brown, they still have Robert Woods and John Mechie. So that's close as far as depth goes. Other than that, the Dolphins, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, but they're number 3. It just doesn't match up with the depth that San Francisco has. Like, Juwan Jennings could go on a lot of teams and be a more targeted number 3 or maybe even a number 2. Now, I don't think ideally you want him as your number 2, but point being, Juwan Jennings is a really good player. Words of wisdom. That noise, Big Trent coming for his back. That's what it sounded like. So the fan was in Chip's microphone, and it sounded like this. That's Trent Williams coming for his bag. Yes, words of wisdom. That's exactly what it is. What else do we got? That's all we got? All right, should we stay live or should we go and watch Colorado, North Dakota State? Type S for stay, G for go. Can we get to $100 in supers? We're at 38 right now.
I think we can get there, baby. I got a beer bong calling my name, so if we can get there, we'll stay live, and you can keep asking us questions using hashtag 49ers. I see some questions going in the chat, so use hashtag 49ers. We can get that up on the screen for you.
'49ers receivers fighting for playing time from Steve and David, no doubt. No doubt. No doubt. All right, 2-minute super chat shot clock. Oh! John Yam, a $50 super chat and a San Francisco. John. How about it? Thank you for that 50. That's another shotgun.
And now with this Words of Wisdom 2, we are $90, 10 away, and I'm doing a beer bong.
Let's go.
Shout out to John Yim and shout out to Words. Stay
live. All right, another shotty.
Woo!
This is in celebration of us not having to talk about Brandon Aiyuk any longer. 4-year, $120 million contract extension, $76 million in guaranteed money. The Niners, Aiyuk continue their partnership as the 2023 All-Pro gets his bag. Thanks to everybody who tuned in for all of my updates on social media and on the Niners Report. We don't have to do that any longer. Now we look ahead to the 2024 season.
Here we go, baby. Chug. Woo!
San Francisco!
Monkey business!
A $10 super chat. The quest for 6. And that's part of the deal, right? The quest for 6. You're not on that quest for 6 if you don't have Brandon Aiyuk. And now, you got to get Trent Williams done. Beer bong time for Chip because we just got to 100. Devon Beasley, I love your show, man. Thank you so much. I do believe that we bring something special to the airwaves, to use an old school term, to your screen on YouTube. Informative, insightful, entertaining, thought-provoking content. That's what I want to do every time I hop in front of this camera, every time I'm on this microphone. I want you to learn. I want you to think. I want you to be entertained. I also want you to be involved. And that's part of the reason why I love working for Chat Sports. That's part of the reason why we have nearly 140,000 subscribers. Our audience interaction is special. It really is. And we can't do it without everybody supporting the show. Muhammad, thanks, brother. All right, let's do another 2-minute super chat shot clock. Do you want the show to continue? 2-minute super chat shot clock. How are they going to pay Brock Purdy next year? Salary cap will continue to go up. As of right now, they do have the most cap space in the National Football League. Adam Schefter did say it's a front-loaded deal. We'll certainly see. Words of wisdom. We love that you spend your weekends with us, man. Man, I'm itching at the bit to watch this Colorado-North Dakota State game. Any score there? Let's check it. 3-0 North Dakota State. I thought Colorado was on upset watch. Game's at Colorado, too. What else we got? Texans receiver room is crazy. Yeah, that's what I said, Arden. I mean, when you think about top to bottom best receiver rooms in the NFL, I think it's San Francisco number 1. The Texans and Eagles are right there battling for number 2, number 3. As far as wide receiver duos go, I think the Eagles, Dolphins have an argument to be made that they could be better than the Niners, but again, it's an argument. It's an argument. Yeah, I saw North Dakota State's up 3-0. What I want to see is Shadur Sanders, a legit NFL quarterback. He just threw for a touchdown. And that's to Travis Hunter, who takes it to the house. So Colorado going to take a 6-3 lead over North Dakota State. Yeah, it's I have it on the computer here. Let's see, Vizio. So Chip's got to do that beer bong. We're actually 2 cents away from 100. 2 cents away from 100. I just looked. So Chip can't do it yet. He can't do it. All right, let's see here. Get Colorado, North Dakota State up here. Yeah, Travis Hunter, 1 catch, 1 tutty. Yeah, he just caught a touchdown. It was like a little in route, and then he kind of did the A.J. Brown swirl around, make the defender miss, get out toward the sideline, cut it upfield.
People were kind of high on North Dakota State in this game. This could get ugly, I'm not going to lie.
I like North Dakota State.
You do?
To cover. Not to win,
what
but to cover.
What did it close at, like 10.5, 9.5? Right?
Yeah, about that. Yeah. Good teams win. Great teams cover. That's what we know. All right, Chip, you can do the beer bong for the people. BK from the Bay, do you think the Niners will claim Frank Gore Jr. from waivers? So a couple things here. Niners passed up on him in the draft. They didn't sign him as the UDFA. He went to the Bills. He did not make the initial 53. But, BK, he did sign with the Bills practice squad. So Niners had an opportunity to maybe claim him, although they were one of the final teams in the waiver order, but he goes back to the Bills. Monkey business, Murder BX.
Got us there.
Here's your 2 cents.
Let's go.
Monkey business. You brought your 2 cents to the show, and I'm talking about smarts. Murder BX. Chug it. Chip, chug. Chip, chug. With the sun setting behind him in the background. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Another 50, I'll shotgun again. That'll be my 3rd. Another 50, I'll shotgun again. But it's got to happen in the next 2 minutes. Got to happen in the next 2 minutes. Hello from Exton. Robert, I'm from Westchester. Spent a lot of time in Exton. Hopped on that train line many times. Been to the Exton Mall many times, which, is it still a thing? Not even sure if Exton Mall is still a thing, Robert. Knife Nut, are you concerned about our D-line? I feel like it's not deep enough. Yeah, I'm concerned about the defensive line depth. The starting unit is really good, and I do think that during the course of a regular season, you want to be able to substitute your defensive linemen to keep your top 4 fresh. In this case, top 4 because the Niners run a 4-3. So I am concerned about the defensive line depth. Yeah, because it's not as deep as in recent years. You are right. Exton Mall still there, but the people still go, Robert. Warrington, PA. Okay, John Yam. Yeah. See, I'm from Chester County. Chip's from Bucks County. I'm right on the border of Chester County, Delaware County. Robert 41, no, exactly. Yeah. All right, so we wrapped up our Aiyuk news. We got a video up on the channel before we even went live. And that video, 5,400 views in an hour. We had a show earlier today pop off for 45,000 views. Yeah, it went crazy. Now, funny enough, that was about the Niners getting terrible news with Trent Williams, with Isaac Guerrero, with Elijah Mitchell. But then a few hours later, they get some great news. Brandon Aiyuk. Muhammad, finally some good news. Exactly. You know ball. You know ball.
Lawrence Moore, do you think Aiyuk taking $30 million instead of more will make it easier to sign Trent, or are they farther apart than that?
So I just think if you see what does Trent Williams want? Does he want an extension? Because he's under contract for the next 3 years. He's 36. Does he want guaranteed money? Can you guarantee some of that money and maybe give him a pay bump? That's what I think gets the deal done. So give him some guaranteed money. It's very similar to the Christian McCaffrey situation. Christian McCaffrey didn't partake in OTAs because he had no more guaranteed money left. And he just won NFL Offensive Player of the Year. He was top 5 in MVP voting. Niners give him an extension, some guaranteed money. Boom. Done deal. He was back at practice the next time the Niners practiced. So that's what I think happens with Trent Williams. All right. We're going to sign off here on the San Francisco 49ers report. Really appreciate everybody for tuning into all of the Aiyuk updates. It has been a long and windy road, but finally, we have a resolution. Oh, Gregory Schneider said, hold up. He is a first-time super chatter. Here's to Chase and Chat Sports. Beer 30 to the Bang Bang Niner gang. Hear of the new edge rusher from Tampa. Let's have a great season. Quest for 6. I don't know of the edge rusher from Tampa. Are you talking college or are you talking pro? But yes, let's have a great year. Quest for 6. San Francisco is fully capable of winning a Super Bowl. 1, they have to get the job done. 2, they have to get the Trent Williams deal done. And they just have to finish. Number 3. That's it. Stay healthy. Number 4. Pause. Just got to stay healthy. That too. Gregory Schneider, pro. The edge rusher from Tampa. Are you talking Randy Gregory, who was with the team last year? I think he's retiring. So he signed a deal with Tampa Bay and then never reported. And then he's like, I'm just walking away. So, yeah, Randy Gregory. Yeah, that's the player. I think if you are desperate for some edge help and he wants to come back and he wants to play, I'm talking like mid-year, you're that desperate and thin on the margins, maybe you bring him back. But he retired. It's kind of a weird dude. Weird dude. But Muhammad, I agree with you. Need to get better depth along the defensive line. All right, we're hopping out. Thanks everybody for tuning into the live show. If you're just joining us, we talked so much about Aiyuk already earlier, and there's an additional video up on the Niners Report. For Chip, I'm Chase. For the faithful, thanks for all of your support. Thanks for watching the show. The Aiyuk deal is done. We will be live tomorrow on the Niners Report. So be sure to tune in, and we'll see you then. Peace.